What's up, everybody? ShonnyDman here, and welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are having yourselves a great week. Back again with another Nerd Talk episode. Very excited to have this guest on for this week. So, get things kicked off and going. Tell us who you are and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, my name is Gena, or if you follow me on Instagram, you might know me as Emotive G or Emotive G cosplay on TikTok. And I'm a cosplayer and a lover of anime and many nerd things. Yes.
I'm trying to think. I think I might because I may have had a few of your people that you may follow Instagram on. I'm trying to
Yeah.
remember off the top of my head. I think
I think
Cindy.
a couple. Let's see, maybe Cindy. I know two for sure. Is like Hannah Dove because I was
Okay.
following her, and then also like Isabel.
Oh
Um,
yes, yes.
yeah. Because
Very.
I've seen them around at local conventions, and I ended up following them because obviously they're cosplayers, and I love to support amazing cosplayers. And also, I mean, they're cool, so why not?
Have you met them before?
I haven't physically met them in person. I feel
Oh.
like we probably like I think the first time I saw I think Isabel was at Acon maybe last year.
Oh.
And I
Okay.
didn't it's one of those things like when you meet other cosplayers, you don't know them, but then you keep noticing them like at the same conventions. You're like, oh, we're in the same circuit. And
Oh. Okay.
one of these days, my introverted self will have to just be like, hey, it's me. I've seen you around and you do a great job. And same thing for Hannah Dove. I think I saw her maybe the first time in like IkiCon. But also it's so tricky when you meet other cosplayers because they always look different. So
Oh yeah.
sometimes you're 100% sure and you're just like, who am I talking to today? But yeah,
Oh
they're
yeah.
they're very cool.
So before we talk about your cosplaying and things like that,
Mhm.
tell our guests that are listening or watching. You recently just got back. Well, maybe not recently, but like a couple of weeks ago, you just got back from traveling. How? And tell us where you went, and tell us a little bit about that.
Right. So I ended up traveling for about, I want to say like 4.5 weeks. I did 1 week in Korea and then I did 3.5 weeks in Japan, which I know is probably exciting for a lot of people who watch anime because that is where our love comes from. But it was really, really great to travel. I think it's really fun to get to be exposed to different cultures. And Japan specifically, I was really, really excited to do because, first of all, it's super cool place. Let's be honest, it has so
Mhm.
much to offer. And I had been learning Japanese, so I was practicing it there.
Oh, okay.
And obviously, I was excited to see anything that I saw like in animes or things that I'd always hoped to see. Like one specific location that I was excited about is the Tokyo Tower because I'm a very big fan of card captors. If anyone has seen my cosplays for that, so I was like, yes, I'm gonna live my inner Sakura and get to see some of the cooler things that you would see maybe in anime. But
How long did it? When did you decide to do this trip? Was this like already like years planned in advance?
kind of, yes. I mainly initially wanted to go because I actually have a relative that lives there and I really wanted
Oh,
to meet
okay.
them and I hadn't before. But also like, as I was growing up, I got more into like anime, more into like Japanese culture because my grandmother's actually Japanese and I would always find like a connection through like anime and other various media. And so I really, really wanted to go and to experience the culture, but also get to see so many like things that I always dreamed of seeing. I think traveling is like really good for you
Oh yeah.
and you just get to learn so much and see so many cool things. So I did plan it. I've always wanted to go my whole life and I had been planning it for many years and then COVID delayed it and eventually we made it and
Oh.
now I'm back. So
Oh, that's not. Oh yeah, I definitely agree. Definitely, people should try to travel more often. Um, because I've had friends tell me like, how are you doing all this traveling? I was just like, I'm just doing it, because like if you make an excuse, you'll keep making excuses till you're not able to go. I
absolutely.
know because I think in 2 years, well, it may be 2024, maybe 2025. I'm still debating on it, but me and my friend Jennifer, we are traveling to Europe, and we'll be spending 10 days in Italy, Germany, Switzerland, and there's one more. I can't remember which one it is. Maybe Sweden.
That sounds good. Throw
So
it in the mix.
right,
Yeah.
but then also the reason I'm trying to debate on is because also I do want to go to Star Wars Celebration.
Hmm.
That's going to be in Japan in 2025, and so I'm kind of trying to decide on. I mean, I could probably do both,
Hmm.
um, but I'm just like I've always wanted to go to Japan too, so that's why I'm kind of like, oh, maybe I really want to do this instead.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. It's so hard because I mean, traveling can be difficult, and I totally understand what you mean, but like you just like have to decide it and make it
Yeah,
happen. Because there's always like that struggle, like, oh, can I afford it? If you like work a job, like, do I have enough leave? Will they give me permission? It's a
right.
lot of commitment, and it is, but I think it's always well worth it.
Oh
And
yeah,
I've never really regretted traveling anytime I've done it, whether it was internationally or not. Usually don't, even for conventions, I don't mind traveling that much because you get to have very unique experiences. And I think I personally like to go from away from where I live,
oh yeah,
what I've always known, and get cultured a little bit, get to learning some stuff because it's easy to get comfortable. And I just feel like that's the best way to grow is by putting yourself in
oh
uncomfortable
yeah.
situations
Because
sometimes.
I know I have been. Let's see, I've been to Cuba twice so far, international wise. And that was very fun. I very much enjoyed that experience.
Oh,
Um, but let's see, state wise, I've been to about like 20 different states.
oh wow.
So
You got
yeah,
a lot under your belt
yeah.
then.
So I
You're
do a
definitely
good bit of
there.
traveling. So I've been all over the southeastern part. I've got to go more out. I think the farthest west I've been is Colorado. That was fun. But I
Mhm.
haven't been nowhere northeast just yet, or kind of like in the North Dakota, South Dakota area. There's just like there are some places where I'm kind of like, just because it doesn't like have much to offer. Like Kansas, would Kansas really be that interesting? And
It
so,
may be. We
oh,
gotta research it, but
right. And so,
I
I
get
don't know, maybe, yeah. If I do good research on, it, I could probably find something.
it. Hmm.
But oh yeah, I've been all over the place. So,
Well, that's so cool. Yeah, I hope to continue to travel, and I think if anyone can, you should.
oh yeah,
It's tough doing it, especially while you're still young and can like I don't know if you
oh
have to
yeah.
plan. Literally, you can do that kind of thing.
Because like once you get older, get more involved in your career. If you got a family, it just becomes a little bit more difficult to try to do all this stuff that you're able to do
Yeah,
when you were younger.
exactly, exactly. So gotta seize the moment and do
Oh
all the
yeah,
things.
definitely. Tell us. So we your cosplays. When did you start?
So I actually started pretty young. I think I might have been, and it's a little fuzzy because it was so long ago, but I was probably maybe like 12 or 13 years old. And I
Oh
did
wow, that's
it.
young.
Yes. And honestly, I'm trying to remember so hard, like how I even began, because I think it was just like I was just watching anime back. I don't even know when. I guess technically the first stuff I watched was like in the 90s, like Pokemon and
Okay.
like the ones that would come on cable television. And I was like,
Right,
this is
right.
great. And I really loved it. And then I kept growing up, and then there was the lovely Adult Swim, which
Oh
liked to
yes.
lots of things like I don't know, like Inuyasha and then Full Metal Alchemist and various other things. But I think I just really liked it, and I really enjoyed all the storytelling even at a young age. And I think my older sibling, I guess she heard about an anime convention where I live, and I was like, that sounds fun. As a 12-year-old, I'm like casually like, yeah, let's go do that and dress up as characters because that also sounds like fun. And so I was like begging my parents, like, please, like, let me buy one single costume because like I didn't have any money. I was like a little kid basically. And I did it though, and it was so fun and really encouraging. And it was also really cool to see other cosplayers like literally like do the thing. Like they did it so well, and I was just like in awe of it. So I want to say that was, I don't even know, maybe like 20, no, like maybe like 2006 or 7.
Hmm.
I'm not quite sure. And I did it for like a maybe like 2 or 3 years after that. Like I made friends at conventions and I would meet up with them, and I continue to do different cosplays that make me cringe now thinking about it. But definitely started really young, and I then eventually I started kind of feeling a little bit of self-conscious because it was definitely the time where anime was not cool
Oh
kind of
yeah.
thing.
Oh yeah.
Kind of like I wouldn't say I got bullied or anything like that, but I definitely felt a little self-conscious about it. Like people were definitely aware that I liked it, but I don't think they even knew that I cosplayed. I kept it on the low low. And eventually I was like, you know what? Maybe this is just a phase. I like anime, but it's fine. And I actually dropped it for a very, very long time. And then, like as an adult, I was like, I really miss going to like anime conventions and watching anime and all of that. And I kind of started to get back into it. I was like, I should just go again. Like I'll just go and it'll be like a fun little weekend thing. But then I just kept going and then it didn't stop going and I'm still doing it now. So I guess collectively, the short answer is maybe I've done it maybe like 5 or 6 years in total, but they were spread out.
Oh,
I
okay, okay.
Yeah, but
Oh
I've been
man.
still going now, so I
Right.
really
No, I know, I understand. I definitely grew up and I watched anime, but obviously I didn't know what anime was. And so like, I watched Pokemon,
classic.
Yu-Gi-Oh,
Yes,
Dragon
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Ball Z, and so
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
definitely watched those. And then when Adult Swim came around, obviously very much was involved with Inuyasha.
Yeah, Inuyasha was good.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. It was good unless you're sleeping and the end credits like come on. It's like 2 o'clock in the
Yes,
morning, and so those
it's like a
those were
meme now. It
something.
makes me laugh so hard. Oh, the real
Let's see what else
there.
was there. Let's see. There was Yu Yu Hakusho, which I saw at different moments, but actually, I think it was last year. I binge watched the entire series on Hulu, and I was like, "Oh, I love this so much. Why have I not found this before?" Um,
Right.
what
It's
else
so
was
nice to have that,
Yeah.
like ability to binge. Because I remember having to catch it just like casually on cable television. If you miss it, that's it. You
Yeah.
you you got a blank in your storyline there, and you got to hope that it just comes back around. It's so
Oh yeah,
funny.
because Adult Swim, they were pretty jam packed with shows. I think it was like start at maybe 9 or 10, and go all the way up until probably like 3 o'clock in the morning. I think it was. And so if you
Yeah.
missed the show, you like you said, you're out of the loop. So
Uh-huh. Exactly.
and then
So,
because Inuyasha, I can't remember what season they stopped at,
mhm.
but I think it was probably like the sixth. I think the sixth season, finished up here in the US, but I think in Japan they had a seventh season.
Mhm.
That was kind of like the final season, but that's on the Hulu, so I was able to watch that as well. And then I think they came out with like a spin-off series.
Yeah. Was it like Yasha Hime or
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
daughter, right? And I was like, oh, interesting.
It
I
was
have not.
pretty. It was. I watched. I think it's like two seasons of it. It's pretty good.
Okay, okay. That's good to hear because you never know. Sometimes the spin-offs just
Oh yeah,
spin the wrong direction, I guess.
exactly, exactly.
That's good to know in case I
Um.
watch it in the near future.
Oh yeah, yeah. Voice. Obviously, they changed some of the voice actor. But I think the
Hmm.
guy that does Inuyasha, I think there's two different voice actors that did Inuyasha, but the
Oh,
main guy, I think he came back and did his voice.
oh,
But I
cool.
think everybody else was kind of changed.
Yeah. Well,
Which
it's been a while, so I guess it's bound to happen. But
I know because I remember watching it because I was so used to the voice actress who did Kagome, and
mhm.
then going into the final season, I don't remember what happened with her. I think that she got recasted with a different voice actress. And then when I heard the new voice actress, I was like, "Ooh, I don't know if I like this person. It's not feeling that Kagome voice, but
Yeah,
it kind of
we get
grew on me as I
attached.
watched it." So
I totally understand that. But sometimes they do really good with recasts, like so much
Yeah.
so like you're like you didn't even notice and you're like, whoa, 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 who is this person? And why do they sound so similar? But if you're lucky, you get that. But I get
Yeah.
it. It's like you get attached and you're just like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know if I can get on. But then you just get over yourself and you watch it because you're gonna watch it anyway.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. Definitely gonna watch it. I gotta watch. Well, I mean, I can't stop watching it now, so I might as well
yeah,
just suck up and just deal with it.
exactly.
Um.
Exactly.
So what was so you started your cosplaying young.
Mhm.
What was your first convention like? How was that?
Oh my gosh. Let me try to remember. What I do remember is that I was very excited. And like I was saying before, like it was just, I think it was so cool to me because I didn't have a lot of friends that liked anime. And to just go into a space where everyone likes anime. And not only that do they like it, they're like cosplaying it. And there's like dealer rooms full of tons of merch, more than I've ever seen in my whole life or could ever dream of as a 12-year-old or however old I was. And it just you kind of felt like what I would imagine Disney World or Disneyland
Oh
feels
yeah.
like. But for me, because I just like I couldn't have dreamed up what that situation would have been. And there was just so many like different like panels, and eventually I got to start meeting like random voice actors for different animes. It's like stuff that my little brain just could not even imagine. And I just really had so much fun like getting to talk to people and to meet people and to buy what I could with the little money I had. It's like, like all of that was just not something that was readily available as it is today, right? Like
Mm,
you can go to Hot Topic, you got all the anime stuff
yeah.
now, or there's probably a lot more conventions now and you can get stuff from there. But up until that point, I didn't really have a way. I just literally only watched it and maybe read some manga because why not?
Okay.
Because that was another way to consume that kind of media. But I just really, really enjoyed it. And I also really enjoyed cosplaying, even though it's a little rough thinking back on what that looked like. I think it was just really fun to get to kind of embody the character you really, really enjoyed
Mm,
watching in a show and just kind of bring it to life. Even as a kid, I like enjoyed that. And it was super fun. I really enjoyed it. And I got to do it with my siblings, and I had like a friend at the time that also went. And I don't know, it was just really clearly unforgettable because here I am now, like
right.
still doing it. It was a small convention, but it was good to me, I got to get a lot of cool stuff. I think I bought maybe like because I my favorite anime then and now is still Full Metal Alchemist.
Okay.
And I got to buy like Edward's like pocket watch. Like, where would I find that? Like never, nowhere else except for like an anime convention or,
Yeah.
now in this age of technology online. But like I didn't have that kind of stuff. Like I had internet, but I didn't have a credit card. I didn't have anything crazy like that. I was just a normal kid that just really liked anime. So I guess all I can say is I really, really enjoyed it enough to continue to like look into more like in my surrounding area and beg my parents to take me. So yeah, I just kept going with it.
How many so how many conventions do you go per year? I know I've had some guests on and they
Mhm.
tell me they're probably about anywhere from two, three, maybe four. They'll try to go to a year. What about you?
Well, I think this year might be a little different, but I would say I try to go like in a perfect world where I have all the finances and all the time and
Oh yeah.
leave and all kind of fun stuff. I would like to maybe go to like mm, maybe 2 to 3, maybe 4 if I'm lucky. But also like it depends on where it is because
Okay.
the further away it is, the more it's gonna cost
Oh
me,
yeah,
right?
yeah, that's true.
And so like this year, as you know, like I was traveling and that was fun and worth every penny, but still cost money. And then the other conventions that I for sure bought badges to this year is actually Anime Expo and then San Japan. And Anime Expo is in California. I'm not in California. I'm
Oh,
gonna have to like go there. So I think it might make it so I go to a little bit less, but I've always wanted to go to AX. It's always been a dream of mine ever since I was that young kid because I kept hearing about it from like my little con friends were like, oh, it's so cool and it's like big. And I would like see pictures of it. I was like, oh, wow. I don't think I'll ever get to do that, but that does look cool. But now I'm an adult
Yep.
and I can do what I want. So
Yep. You have
that's
your own money to do whatever you want.
yeah.
So,
So
uh,
now making that kind of a reality. So I'm hoping though I can maybe squeeze in at least one more because I went to EKCon this, what was it, January? And then I think AX will be the next one, and then San Japan, and then maybe something at the end of the year. Because I do really, really enjoy going to conventions. It's so fun to get to talk to people and for someone to just be as excited as you are about your cosplay or about anime, whatever the case may be. Like, I always really enjoy it. It's fun. And then also you get to like wear your hard work that you've curated or made and be proud of that. So I love going to conventions. I think it's
I
super fun.
think one of the guests I've had on, Sunflower Cause is her Instagram name. I
Okay.
believe she's also I think she told me she was going to Anime Expo. So
Ooh,
I believe that's what she told me. But yeah, she lives out that way, so she was telling me about all the ones that she goes to in her area. Um, she told me she has a very fun time at that one. So
oh,
you're more
awesome.
likely gonna have a good time.
I am looking forward to it. I know it's probably like going to be the biggest convention I've ever been to because I think it might be the biggest one in the US. I'm not sure, so don't quote me, but it's definitely got a lot going on, which is kind of why I wanted to go. And also, I feel like you can see some really, really amazing cosplayers, like the kind of stuff that you don't even know how they made that, but they did, and
Oh
they're
yeah,
there and look amazing. And
I
I
remember
love.
seeing. It's not anime, but like I do get really impressed on how well people make these cosplays. I
Mhm.
remember seeing somebody make like a fully automated Iron Man suit with the
Oh,
works and
wow.
everything. And I was just like, that is just amazing. That's a lot of work and probably a
Yeah,
lot of money.
yeah.
But I
I
was like,
love
oh,
you. And you'll see an Iron Man or two every now and an anime convention or like a Marvel character. And I'm not mad at that at all. I'm like, you made it, or even if you didn't, like you bring it and I will appreciate it no matter what. Because I know
oh
it's
yeah.
like a lot of effort to put together any kind of cosplay. And I'm always gonna appreciate that, especially since I had such humble beginnings. So, you know, if you want to see that humble beginning, I have a reel where it has like one picture
Mm-hmm.
of me at that age. You can't even tell what I'm trying to be like at all, but it's like it's fun to look back though, even
Oh
if it
yeah.
is a little bit cringy.
What's a con other than the ones that you mentioned that you really want to go to?
hmm. I think as far as other bigger cons, I what is it? Comic Con New York, like in New York.
Oh,
I think
okay.
it would be really, really cool to go to. I was kind of like low key jealous, like because I follow like a bunch of people on Instagram and I would see like people like attending. I was like, oh, that looks so fun. I wish I was there. So I wouldn't mind like maybe for my next like out of state convention, if after Anime Expo, like I could maybe make that a thing. Plus, I've
Mm-hmm.
also never been to New York, so why not? Kind of
That's
thing.
true. That's true. New York
Um,
is the place to be. So
so I think that would be really, really cool. I'm trying to think of some other ones. Oh, I cannot remember the name of one of these ones, but I'm trying to like just branch out a little bit more and consider more out of state cons because I think they have some really cool stuff in other states and I love Texas and there's many cons, especially in like the Dallas and like Irving area. But it's fun to like travel, like I said before. So why not do it? And why not try cosplaying while you're at it?
I
So
think you're like the third So overall, you're probably the fifth or sixth person I've had on who was from Texas. and, I think you're the third that I've had on that's located around the Dallas area.
let's see. Well, actually, I guess I'm still close to Dallas. I'm about like 3 hours away from
Okay.
Dallas. I actually live in Austin. So
Oh, okay.
I usually travel to Dallas though, because I feel like that's where like the good Texas cons are, or
Oh
like
yeah.
a good handful of them anyway. Um, but yeah, Texas, I think, has a lot of conventions going on, big and small, and it's pretty easy to cast a net and get a bunch of Texas cosplayers, I
Oh
guess you
yeah.
can.
Yeah. Well,
Uh,
including, Hannah and Isabel.
yeah.
Definitely had them. And so I think my friend Amalia Cat, I think she's Dallas.
Ah, yeah. I
Yeah.
wish sometimes I lived in Dallas so I wouldn't have to drive.
It's very nice, but I would not. I don't love the traffic in Texas. It's very it's very annoying. So
Yeah.
um
Can either. It's not
yeah.
great. I
Yeah,
would recommend for that. That's for
because a few
sure.
years ago, I think this was maybe 2018 or 2019, I went to Dallas because a friend of mine was interning for a company there, and so I went and spent a week with her, and it was nice. It was very fun. Other than the traffic, it was pretty fun, pretty good time. I love their movie theater there because where I live, we don't have the fancy movie theaters that like
Mhm.
have or laid back chairs, or they'll bring you
Oh.
food. We're not that fancy where I live. And so it
Mhm.
was very cool to enjoy going to the movies, having just
Uh-huh.
lean back in your chair, have like what did I have? They had like fish and chips, but I didn't get that. I didn't want
Oh
that.
yeah, like they have like food ready for you.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
it was nice. It's very
it's
nice. It's
luxury
obviously it's a
now.
little more pricier, but it's nice.
Yeah. I recently went to the theaters and saw like Susume, and we did the similar thing, like have the like reclining chairs
Oh
and like
yeah.
not like
No,
that.
those are nice. Those are
Never
nice.
thought I'd enjoy anime movies like that when I was younger. So it's pretty
Make
cool.
Makes you want to just build your own theater in your house and
That would
just
be amazing. Watching anime on like a theater screen in your own house, like that's luxury
it is.
stuff.
um so what's some future cosplay projects that you're working on right now?
Well, should I spoil it? Let me think. Well, I have a few in the works. Sometimes I get a little self-conscious like to reveal them, but maybe I'll let me think about it as I talk about it. But just because I'm like, I don't want to be like, hey, I'm doing this, and then like it just totally goes awry. Like for
Okay.
example, I did Queen for Persona 5 as a cosplay. And originally I did plan it, but I am slowly getting into the process of being able to like make my own from scratch, at least
Hmm.
parts of it, if not all of it. Um, but yeah, so I ended up just ordering that one because I was like, I don't think I can make that. It looks real complicated. And I ordered it the first time and whew, it was rough. Like whatever I got, I was like, no way I can wear this in public. This is real bad. And
Oh
I
my
just didn't
goodness.
know like if it was going to be possible because I couldn't really find it. But then I ended up finding like Easy Cosplay and they were able to like make it. And so it worked out. So I was like, yeah, okay, we're good. No, I can tell everyone about it. But as far as projects that I guess I'll go ahead and spoil it. And if someone is as charitable enough to watch this, they'll get to know. Otherwise, don't know. But one that I'm kind of excited about is from Cyberpunk Edge Runners. And
Okay.
I was planning to do Rebecca. And so I'm really excited for that. I actually did a little like try on of most of it. And I still have some little things I need to work on and detail out for it. But that's one for sure. And since I am also still learning to like make stuff, I'm currently working on a mock-up of like a cosplay for Kiki's Delivery Service from
Oh,
Movie. Um,
it's a good movie.
yeah, so yeah, I it's one of my favorite Studio Ghibli films, and that's partly why I was like, my little kid self would be like on a cloud nine, for that kind of cosplay. And so I was planning on making Kiki's like initial like outfit that you see in the opening scenes because I
Hmm.
just wanted to like, maybe give people something a little bit different to look at. And I actually just finished today like sewing up the mock-up of part of that. So I was like, okay, it may not be perfect, but it looks like something. So that's pretty good. And as far as other things, I feel like I have a lot of cost plans, but those are the ones that are the most furthest along and probably be at whatever next convention I end up being at, which is probably gonna be AX. And I'm really excited. I'm trying really hard to learn different things and sharpen skills and kind of just grow because sometimes, it's really nice to buy cosplays. I think it's a little more cost efficient, but sometimes I want it to be just like a little bit different, a little bit
Mm,
more what I had in my brain. So I'm starting to learn, like, how to make that
right.
reality. Cosplay is constantly like me figuring stuff out that I never knew how to do to begin with, to be honest, like learning how to sew, learning how to make props, learning how to like shape EVA foam. It's all still pretty new, honestly, to me, because like I said, when I was cosplaying before, like I was very young. I didn't have means to make that happen, but now I do. And I basically spend most of my free time figuring all that fun stuff out. And honestly, it's really fun for like your creative part of the brain to do. Like I've always enjoyed being creative. So even if it's not perfect, I'm proud that I can continue to like work towards something and really make some cool cosplays out of it, or at least curate them to the perfection that I want them to be, hopefully. So
Okay.
yeah.
So when you're not cosplaying, what does your free time look like?
Well, I mean, I guess one thing that I do pretty consistently still, and I mentioned it earlier, it's like I am learning to speak Japanese. So that has been actually pretty fulfilling. I really like to learn things that obviously interest me, like not like anything like, I don't know, calculus or something like that. That just gives me a headache. But, you know, learning language is pretty fun and very fulfilling to me because then I get to speak to like my grandmother in it and I get to like use it in day to day life. And even when I watch anime, sometimes I'm like, ooh, I know what they're saying. And I know it's not directly translated that way, but I know what's up. And it's really cool to do that. Aside from that, I would say I try to play some video games when I
Oh,
can.
okay.
I would not consider myself a gamer by any means.
Right. Okay.
However, I
Right.
do enjoy playing them from time to time. Because I also, when I was younger and cosplaying and watching anime, I think I got like a PlayStation that I shared with my siblings, like a PlayStation 2. And one of the first games I played was Kingdom Hearts. And I really, really love Kingdom Hearts still to this day. I guess like that and Full Metal
It.
Alchemist are like, die hard for me. So I'll play usually like maybe like story driven games. Like I'm still playing Persona 5 because it's the longest game ever. And every
My
time I think I'm
gosh.
done, I'm never done. And I'm like, oh well, I guess at least I'm getting my money's worth. But
Oh yeah.
I've,
Yeah.
I've been enjoying that one. And then I'm gonna have to figure out once I beat that, like what am I even gonna play? Because there's so many things. Because it took me a long time to get another like PlayStation because money.
Oh
but
yeah. Yeah. I can.
so it's like
Right.
kind of like I'm reliving literally my childhood, but now I'm just an adult and now I can do even more than before. So I do like to play video games when I have the time. And obviously, I work on a lot of content for the Instagram. I have so much stuff to go through from everything, from like the, and so hopefully I can get to that. Other than that, I guess I just hang out with my dog, tell her she's cute, um, go to conventions when I can, and obviously I watch a lot of anime,
Yeah.
probably an unhealthy amount, but it makes me happy. I think anime is so cool. Like I don't know how people can't enjoy it sometimes. To each their own, but
Right.
it's very, I don't even know how to explain the feeling when you watch one. Like it's just so hype. Like I don't know, like I remember, watching Full Metal Alchemist for the first time. And then when I like re-entered watching anime and convention world, I think it was like My Hero Academia that I watched. And it's just like, I guess maybe it's just having the feeling of someone to root for, depending on the anime you're watching, because not all of them are like that. But just like, I don't know, you get invested in the story and you're like, this is really cool. And I just love like the intros and outros. It's just like a magical thing to me.
Right.
Not to sound cheesy, but it's really hard for me to articulate how exactly it makes me feel, but I definitely will probably watch anime for, I mean, clearly I thought I dropped it and it just came back, so maybe forever. I don't know. Maybe I'll be an old lady watching it one day.
Well, like you said, it's just like because years ago, anime wasn't as popular here. Like
Mhm.
obviously here in the US, it wasn't really popular, but then just all of a sudden it just boomed, and so a lot more people got into anime.
Yeah, and I really, really love that. It's like I couldn't have dreamed of more awesome thing to happen, and I never anticipated that happening. But I'm really happy that it did because I do think it's like a medium that not a lot of people knew about, and now they do and can really appreciate. Like even if you're not like super into anime and you're not like me, like I just like a cosplayer
Right.
of or anything like that, like I definitely have like lots of friends that have at least watched it, even though they're not like fully like indulging like I would maybe. But I think there's a better appreciation for it now, and I think it's worth it because it has so many great stories, and they're worth listening to, in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
And you would, I guess, people are just surprised that like something that's animated could be so like I don't know, moving or have so much depth. And again, this depends on the anime you watch because let's be honest, not all of them are like that, but
Right.
a
This is true.
lot
Yes.
of them are, and a lot of the ones I watch are that way. So I just think it's worth giving a chance
Oh
to
yeah.
anyone who maybe doesn't watch
Definitely.
it. So yeah.
Definitely. Well, all right, guys, that is where we will wrap up this episode of Nerd Talk. This was just very fun, and I enjoyed having you on. So, as per usual, you guys, it should be showing up on screen now. But for those who are listening on podcast, tell us one more time how they can follow and support you.
All right. Well, thank you for having me too. It was so fun. I really love talking about all these kinds of things. But if you want to find me on social media, I'm Gena. On Instagram, I go by Emotive G, and on TikTok, I go by Emotive G Cosplay because Emotive G was taken as a handle. So
Oh,
yeah, if you want to find other sources, I think I also have a Facebook and Twitch, but I don't use those as much. But Instagram is probably the best one. So Emotive G. And if you ever see me around the Texas convention or if you see me at AX, just feel free to say hi because I'm also introverted. We can be introverted together. So it's all good. But yes, thank you so much for having me. This was so fun. I'm glad that we could talk and some nerd talk, I guess you should say.
no problem. No problem. But as per usual, you guys, that is it for this episode. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button, comment below, and we will see you guys later.